Good evening. We are Group 6, and today we're going to be talking about the myth of secure computing. Our team members who are presenting today are Destiny Reed, Trenton Alford, Justin Miller, and Jude Ashenburner.
What is digital security? Digital security is defined by Gemlato as the tools you can use to secure your identity, assets, and technology in the online and mobile world. These tools can use to protect your identity include antivirus software, web services, biometrics, and secure personnel devices that you carry with you every day. In short, it's an all-encompassing term which includes the tools you use to secure your identity, assets, and technology in the online and mobile world. Secure computing. The majority of security breaches start from the inside. These can be individuals in the company who are vindictive or careless employees. Prevention of this requires a lot of badgering from management and good work by employees. Digital security is invisible, so you can tell you've succeeded when you hear nothing from it over the year. Senior managers hand off the responsibilities to technical people or consultants. It comes as no surprise that managers like to pass on the responsibilities to individuals they believe have more expertise. Security breaches affect companies in a variety of ways. They can disrupt operations, alienate customers, lead to losses of client data, and tarnish reputations. Business managers are usually the ones left to deal with these consequences because they are often the ones that spearhead preventative measures and facts. The goal isn't to make computer systems completely secure because that's impossible. It's to reduce the business risk to an acceptable level. Security breaches are evident in the recent findings of Facebook and Mark Zuckerberg, who had over 22 million subscribers' data hacked by the Cambridge Analytica company and used to supposedly change election results. There are many types of security exploits that hackers can use to take advantage of companies. Buffer overflows are an anomaly where storage program overruns its boundaries and overwrites adjacent memory locations. They are very easy for hackers to exploit and can cost companies upwards of $144 million in a year. They require patches to fix if the code has already been released, but they can be fixed prior to release with bounds checking. Security bugs are errors in coding that can lead to hackers' infiltration. The only real solution is more precise coding and a dedicated team to check and ensure that the coding is correct. And of course, viruses. They are a type of malicious software that, when executed, replicate themselves by modifying current code and replacing it with their own. The main solutions are malware products. Examples include Norton AV, AVG, and McAfee Advanced Virus Protection.
Quick statistics. According to industry estimates, security breaches affect 90% of all businesses every year. Of these security breaches, it costs $17 billion. Protective measures are expensive, and on average, a company can spend 5% to 10% of its IT budget on security. Threat to digital security. Digital security comes in many shapes and sizes, but fall into three different categories. One, network attacks, which is denial of service. Denial of service attacks, for instance, disable computers by flooding them with an overwhelming number of messages. Next is intrusion. Intrusions differ from network attacks because they actually penetrate an organization's internal IT system. And the final type of threat is malicious code, consists of viruses and worms. When it comes to digital security, there's no such thing as an impenetrable defense, but you can mitigate risks by following sound operating practices, the myth of secure computing. The operation approach. Companies need smart technicians that stay on top of emerging digital threats and defenses. Most people would assume that companies use technicians, but they shouldn't be the ones calling the shots. It should be the general managers. General managers need to take the lead in building processes. By doing this, general managers lessen the likelihood of a successful attack and soften damage that can occur. Most business processes have a general business process, but do not manage or direct them in a consistent way. The next few slides direct companies on the 8 building processes that they should be working on.
8 building processes. The first building process is to find your company's digital assets and decide how much protection each deserves. A company's digital assets are not always obvious. A team of senior managers should take inventory of data and systems. By doing this, managers can assess how valuable each part is and decide how much risk the company is going to have. Review the people processes and technologicals that support the assets. This step should also include external suppliers and partners, which will then give the company a blueprint that identifies what exactly the digital assets are. Step 2. Define the appropriate use of IT resources. All companies should have the appropriate use of resources, and it is important for companies to be able to explain the rationale for the limitations that they place on computer usage. Step 3. Control access of your systems. Companies need a system to determine who gets access to certain information and who doesn't. Step 4. Companies should have reasonable levels of security from software vendors. An example of this is given in the text, where a contract between General Electric and software company GM. This is stated on page 124. Number 5. Know exactly what software is running. Keeping track of the different versions or fixes that have been applied is fundamental to digital security management. Step 6. Test and benchmark. Companies should not rely heavily on audits because they only discover the problem after it has happened instead of catching the issue beforehand. Step 7. Rehearse your response. Rehearsing what to do in case of an attack enables decision makers to act more confidently and effectively during a real event. And step 8. Analyze the root causes. The organization should conduct a detailed analysis to uncover the root cause of security problems. Overall, the bottom line is managers need to sort through the risks that they are likely to materialize. Managers' attitude towards risk and secure computing are difficult. Not all risks can be countered with well-defined management actions. Sometimes no possible actions can address a serious risk, and other times it is very expensive to do so. According to the text, the important thing to realize is that every case is about making business trade-offs. Thank you for listening to our slide. Below, you will find our references that we use to make our presentation and for the research of our paper. Following this, you will see our questions listed in our discussion board, and we're excited for your participation. Thank you for listening once again,